difference between death and survival comes down to how prepared you are. Here's Trish. Few things feel lonelier and scarier than being trapped on the side of the road, especially in the dead of winter. That's why you're told so many times to be prepared. And tonight, you'll see exactly why you shouldn't ignore those warnings. It began with a snowstorm and a question in the newsroom. How long could you last if you got stuck out in this? It ended with
two crazy ladies in the gold car.
Two crazy ladies. One is here to prove a point. That would be me. The other is here because she's already proven it. That would be Karen Nelson.
I just knew I was going to die.
You might not recognize her right away, but you'll likely recognize her story when you hear it in just a few minutes. But first, I've got some driving to do. I'll head into the storm. This is what I wore to work today. Probably not much different than what you wore. I've got jeans and a lightweight turtleneck and a lightweight coat. I do have waterproof boots and gloves, but I don't have a hat and I don't have a scarf. Probably because when I got dressed this morning, I had no idea that by the end of the day, I'd be stranded. I can't strand myself along just any old roadway. I don't want to be a hazard to other drivers. I'm looking for a road less traveled by the driving public. I find that road at Camp Ripley, the 52,000-acre Army National Guard post near Little Falls, Minnesota. And the best thing about Ripley is that there's a security guy who's also a medic. His name is John Stone, and he's supposed to keep me out of trouble.
138/98.
He's got my baseline vitals, temp, blood pressure, and pulse, all of which will change over the next few hours.
At first, mild hypothermia, your blood pressure goes up.
Karen Nelson puts it more simply.
It's going to be cold. You know, you're not going to stay warm.
The car is pretty warm now. It's 66 degrees in the car. And so before the car gets too cold, I'm going to check the trunk, see if I have anything in there. Bag of sunscreen. So it's mostly summer stuff. I did not get my car ready for winter this year. Wait, a flashlight. I don't know if that's going to work or not. No, the battery's dead because it's been in the trunk all winter. It's very dark outside and very, very quiet.
Hello.
Hi. These are thoughts familiar to Karen Nelson. And tonight, those thoughts come back like a blizzard from the back of her brain.
Yeah, I have shivers up my spine. It makes, I'm kind of like uncomfortable. We're out here in the boonies and it's kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of scary. Just kind of makes me a little nervous.
She's agreed to come here and sit with me for a while because she's an old pro at this survival stuff.
It happened during the blizzard of '97 to a woman caught in the wrong place at the wrong time.
For a few days back in January of 1997, a few snowy and polar days, the whole country knew Karen's face. You might remember her as the South Dakota woman with the cell phone and the sleeping bag who survived 40 hours in her car at 40 below.
I just kind of sat in there. I talked to myself. I sang. I prayed. You know, and just kind of kept looking out to see if I could see anybody.
And she did that for a day and a night and another day and into the next night.
And now, you know, we're sitting out here and it's dark and you know, it's a little chilly. It was really hard on me. I really had some bad dreams and it was kind of tough.
I hope this doesn't bring the dreams back.
It won't.
Okay, good. Good.
I'll just think of you and laugh.
She's laughing now because she'll get to stay in a warm truck with the medic. I'll stay in the car. Temperature's dropping.
How are you doing?
John Stone will check my temperature, pulse, and blood pressure every hour at first. I've got somebody else checking on me, too.
What are you doing?
I'm just trying to stay warm. Did you move around to stay warm?
They kept telling me to move my fingers, my toes, and my hands.
Hypothermia sets in when your temperature drops to 95 degrees. You'll see mine drop lower than that in a minute. Here's what that means. Your body's instinct is to draw all of its warmth to its core, where the vital organs are. Feet, hands, arms, and legs get cold first as they constrict and send blood to your body core. That causes your blood pressure to go up, your pulse too. You begin to shiver. As you get colder, below, say, 93 degrees, your body gets tired. Blood pressure and pulse, once elevated, plummet. Eventually, your brain doesn't get enough oxygen. That's when people get disoriented, start feeling warm, take off their jacket or clothes, and get out of the car to walk, where they freeze to death.
She is shaking. Super duper.
By midnight, a little more than 2 hours into the test, the air temperature in the car is 36.5 degrees. I'm starting to get a little uncomfortable, but I'm not in trouble yet.
How are you doing?
I am getting cold.
My blood pressure creeps up from 146 over 106 to 161 over 107.
You're going
My
up a
pulse
little
holds
bit.
at 88 or 89 beats per minute. But remember, I've got nothing with me in the car, and I'm running out of ways to stay warm. At 12:40, 3 hours in, my body temp drops only half a degree to 96, but I'm working much harder to stay there. My blood pressure is up to 158 over 120. My pulse is up from 88 to 110 beats per minute.
Now, see, your pulse is going up. You had about a 10-point jump in your blood pressure and about a 10-point jump in your pulse.
He'll start checking on me every 20 minutes now.
She'd be in trouble, I would say, maybe another hour, where she would be really getting impaired.
It doesn't take that long. 3.5 hours into the test at 1 a.m., my temperature drops to 95.5 degrees. Still, little change in my vitals. But by 2 a.m., 4 hours in,
Your body's starting to say, I'm getting tired of this.
my core body temperature drops 3 degrees in 1 hour. I'm at 92.5 degrees. My blood pressure shoots up to 190 over 163.
Keeping my fingers to work.
But what's most alarming is that my pulse, once rising, now drops. I'm moving toward severe hypothermia. My body is about to succumb to the cold. This is not what I expected. Certainly not this soon.
190 over 163. So time to quit.
Without any winter survival gear, I last just 4 hours.
I got my truck warm for you, and I got the blankets and heat packs out.
Congratulations.
Remember the Polar Bear Club.
It will take hours to bring my temperature back up to normal. How would I have done if I'd been prepared with food and warm clothes? The only way to find out? Get stranded again.
Coming up at 9:45, stranded again. Trish heads back into the freezing night.
Oh, but it's already 39 degrees in here.
But this time, she's ready for the worst.
But this is the point where we quit last time.
See the dramatic difference that could save your life. That's coming up at 9:45.
End up being ours.